We are live of the third test match after the second day. It took me a while to actually get those words in motion in my head. But here we are live. Again, an interesting day of test cricket. The England team might just be a little more happy than the Indian team, especially with the way we started off with the bat and the way they have started off with the ball. Damn, I bit my tongue there. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It'll help us push this live to a lot more people. And
And it's been a good day's test cricket.
yes,
If yesterday was quite a bit of a boring day from an Indian perspective, because England scored, but we also got wickets. Today started off very spicily in the morning with Bumrah getting 3 in the first 30 minutes.
yep.
And then there was a lull, there was a change of ball. There's a lot of things to actually get into.
Yeah, that's true.
But thank you so much for joining in, lads. Uh, Vidwan Insan, what's up? Unknown, what's up?
Are we fine? We're still sick. We'll be fine. Sooner or later, it's fine. Roy Chowdhury. Hi, Alora Sen. Why does everyone else become shit the second Bumrah is in the team? Well, we'll talk about it. Wow, baby Kannada. I can't pronounce it. Apologize. Vedang. All right, it's great to see you guys. If you guys are joining us for the first time, we have a lot of segments where we have two extra segments today. It's something we thought about. It's something we thought we should talk about. So we will talk about the positives for the day. We will talk about places where the Indian team might just need to improve. We have a technical tidbit. We have a lot of stats for the day. We have two technical tidbits actually, and then we have those two new segments. That's something I feel like we all need to have a conversation about because it's sliding under the bus, and we just thought it should be brought up. And
Yeah.
yeah, we just have that. And in the end, we'll address the chat, talk to the chat for a bit. And yes, unknown. Yeah, we'll also talk about Karun.
Karun. Yeah. We're going to talk about. There's actually a lot of events that happened today in today's day's play.
That's true.
So yeah, we just have so much to actually talk about.
Yeah,
It's going to
and
be fun.
hey, Vidwan
Hey,
and Son,
Vidwan,
thank you so much for the super chat.
the
Damn,
unicorn.
already into the chat.
Nice.
Already into the stream. Thanks so much for that. Thank you also for the unicorn. We appreciate that a lot. A lot of new names. Logesh. Hey guys, why is everyone being bashing Karun Nair? He got 40 today and blunted the ball, made sure the middle order didn't get exposed soon after early wickets. That's a very, very good point. We will talk about that. We'll talk about we have a positive and a negative about Karun. So we'll get into that. And Shri, what's up? For Tramp. Damn, what a name. Alright, let's get into things. Hi Kulveer, hi UPSC SC aspirant.
Damn.
That just came out. Let's go to the scorecard.
All right, so been an interesting day's play. England started off overnight at 251 for 4, and a lot of us thought that this score would go to at least 400, 450 if England got off and started off well. But Joe Root, right after getting that century, was dismissed for 104, courtesy some brilliant bowling by Jasprit Bumrah. England eventually skittled out for 387, not before their not even tail enders. I mean, Braden Carr's tail ended, but Jamie Smith once again, both of them getting 50s, which was a pain in India's ass. But from there, India coming out getting 145 for 3. They were 44 for 1 by the end of T.
True.
Sorry, by the end of the mid session going into T. And from there, India losing a couple of wickets in that last session, 145 for 3, still trailing by 242. KLR once again holding fort at 50 out.
All right, let's go to the merit and grid. Before that, you can also talk about how the pitch played out.
Yeah, so very interestingly, the pitch has gotten slightly faster. That was all of the conversation on comms. We also saw Jofra Archer come back with a brilliant spell, something we will talk about. But there's nothing more really to add to the pitch except the fact that it does seem a lot livelier than I think either of us had anticipated. It's still a good pitch to bat on, but it's not as good or as flat as I thought it would be today. I think it's also the effect of that heavy roller being used in the morning that just kind of settled the pitch out beautifully. Uh, and yeah, I think overall it was a decent pitch. It has something for the batters, it has something for the bowlers. That's on the pitch. Now moving to the positives. And this is where I think it's a mixed bag for India because when they started off brilliantly in the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes before that ball changed, I thought Bumrah's spell was once again superhuman. It's only fitting that he's on the honors board at Lord's getting a 5-wicket haul. And just that 30-minute spell completely broke England's backbone. Even Siraj started off well. I thought he was a little unlucky for not getting the wickets that he could have had. Jamie Smith on 5, he was dropped. So yeah, that's a bit unlucky, but I think Siraj overall balled well. And the Indians came around pretty okay when it came to the bowling part of things. So not much to add on there. There's probably more negatives, I think, that we'll need to get into over there. But apart from that, on the batting front, and this is where, again, in the positives, you obviously had KLR holding fort once again. This is possibly the second or third time now that he's been not out overnight and will be coming to bat the next morning. So that's great news for India. And it was important for KL to be there, especially after Karun Nair, who we've already mentioned in the chat, scored 40 and was dismissed yet again. Now, we will get into the negatives, but for the positives, at least Karun Nair's score is going higher with every innings that he plays. He looked so assured at the crease. I think this was till date his best innings in the series. He looked compact. He was, of course, he was still poking at the odd one or two deliveries, but I thought he did really well, especially to play out that spell from Jofra Archer, because he came in when Jaiswal was gone around the third or fourth delivery in Jofra Archer's over. And so it was important for Karun to come out and just play out the Jofra Archer spell. Chris Wokes was not all that special, so that's fine. But yeah, I think Karun, as you said, did well to blunt out the new ball. And yeah, I think these are the only two players who scored. Another positive, and the final one, I think, with the bat, is that Rishabh Pant still came out to bat. There were a lot of questions on his injury and whether or not he would come out today, especially even particularly at that time, right? Because when he came out to bat, there was about 40 odd minutes left for the end of day's play. He could have very easily chosen to sit that out, probably have the batting order all pushed up by one, or probably sent a night watchman like an Akashdeep. But for Pant to have come out and batted and to remain not out, take responsibility, I think that's great signs for India.
All right, let's talk about. Oh, also, one more thing before I switch screens, talk about in splits versus Brits, which is something the Indian team needs to do to work on. Something I do want to ask is someone asked, why do we get ads in between the video? I have a question. Do you guys get ads while the live is going on? Or like when you just join the live? Because if it's during the live, that's a bit weird, and I would want to know if you get an ad while the live is going on, like while you're already watching the live, right? So let's talk about things that we found negative of the day, if anything, in terms of being more optimistic. What can India improve on? Something I do want to talk about, and I feel like this is a thing in my head, but it's something I cannot move past. Right, day one, day two, first ball of day two, your batter, the English batter, Joe Root, is on 99. Jasprit Bumrah with the new ball, that's only 2 or 3 overs old. 2 or 3, yeah, 3 overs old, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so Jasprit Bumrah with the new ball, Root's on 99. You look at the slip cordon, you have two slips and a gully. And the second that happened, I told someone else at home that regardless of whatever it is, Joe Root will hit a ball between the slip and a gully. And surprise, surprise, the first ball that he plays, the way he gets his 100 is getting the ball through slip and the gully. It's quite mesmerizing for me that as a captain, on a fresh day, on a fresh pitch, when a batter's on 99, when you have Jasprit Bumrah with the new ball, how much does it hurt to have three slips and a gully, something I cannot get past? Luckily for us, we got Joe Root very, very early, right after the 100. So we can move past that. Of course, talking about no slips, when there was a slip, KL Rahul did drop Jamie Smith for just 5, and that hurt us. Jamie Smith, the second he's dropped, especially when he's currently the highest run scorer for the England team in this series, you just know that he's going to cash in, and he cashed in all right, played beautifully. And I think the Indian bowlers are still figuring a way out to bowl to Jamie Smith, because the second he gave that edge, we, for whatever reason, went past the line and length. We weren't bowling it outside off for him to push his bat. And the second we did that, once again, he gave his wicket away. So I just think if we are doing that, just do it consistently. If he can give a catch once, he will do that again. I feel like we just get scared the second Jamie Smith settles down. And Shubman Gill, the captain, okay, I don't want to say went defensive, but he didn't look to get Jamie Smith out at that point. He wanted Braden Cast on strike, and it just looked like Jamie Smith could get those singles very easily, which I would be a little critical about, because you still have to try getting him out. And then, yeah, of course, the ball change after 63 deliveries. It's something Nasir Hussain talked about extensively, about why would you change a ball that is helping you guys? You've gotten 3 wickets in the first 30 minutes. No way that ball's doing any harm to you, and no way is that ball, even if it's out of shape. What were you expecting as the captain and the bowling team? Were you expecting another new ball? You know that's not going to happen. You know you're not going to get another new ball. The second they started complaining, I still think the Duke's ball has a problem in itself. But the second they got that second ball and they started complaining, I'm like, what are you expecting? Like, you don't really expect a new ball, do you? When that ball that you had to begin with was doing a lot, was swinging, Bumrah was swinging it both ways, seaming it both ways, Siraj was swinging it both ways. Why change it? Why do anything about it? You're getting wickets, batters aren't able to play. Jamie Smith at that point was dropped too. The second the ball was changed, things just went flat. Shubman Gill was complaining not only because the ball was bad, because he just realized he didn't make a fair trade. Well, that's what you get. And then something that we will talk about more, I'm just going to touch upon this, is Akashdeep. Akashdeep today looked a little flat. And I want to say that's because he didn't get the new ball, which is something we will get into. But he did look flat. He didn't look as consistent as he was in the first test match or even yesterday's first spell and the last spell. So yeah, there will be times when Akashdeep goes up and down the same way how Siraj and Bumrah would go up and down. We just got to stay patient with Akashdeep, but I just hope the inconsistencies are not as consistent. And then we come to Jaiswal. Again, it's a technical tidbit that we will get into. Him getting caught off guard and being squared up and opening up and getting an edge and getting out. It's not the first time we've seen this. It won't be the last time we'll see this if he doesn't make a change. It's something we've talked about so much, and I can't wait to get into that. Karun Nair once again. All right. So let's talk about Karun Nair for a little bit. He scored those 40 runs as a number 3 in a test match. Those 40 runs are not enough. And as much as someone said that, sure, he did get past the new bowling spell, he did get past Archer, who was looking in top form, especially after getting a wicket in the first over. But you're on the number 3. There are no demons in the pitch. Like Praatibh said, it's a difficult pitch to bat on if you're coming on to bat. It's still a good wicket to bat on. It's a good wicket to get runs. We saw Bryden Carr score runs. We saw Jamie Smith get runs. We saw Joe Root. We saw Ben Stokes get runs. It's a good wicket if you apply yourself. And I thought the way Karun Nair got out, I mean, of course, it was a splendid catch, but his feet moved nowhere, his bat moved nowhere. I thought it was just a bad shot to play and get out. It was very disappointing from Karun Nair. It was those good 40 runs, but if you're scoring 40, you have to be able to convert. I don't feel there were a lot of people after he got out. There were a lot of people talking about how he's unlucky and how it was a good catch, but you gave that catch to begin with, and as much as you might be unlucky, if you're cashing in, you gotta continue scoring runs. He wasn't able to do that. That's that for the negatives. Let's go to oh, what a great.
Cool. So that is your moments of the day. I think the biggest moment had to be the Jamie Smith drop, because not only did Jamie Smith go on to score another 50 odd runs, but he also strung in a beautiful partnership with Bryden Cars. India just completely lost their momentum and also probably got demoralized because of how easy that catch was, and they still dropped it. And I think that resulted in easily a good 60 70 runs that India could have done without. I think India were on top, and that drop catch just kind of ruined the entire setup we had. And this is not the first time that a drop catch is changing the course of a game, and so India will be disappointed with that. And apart from that, the other moment is Gill's wicket, because I think Gill was batting extremely well. I was telling Ashwin how it once again was an absolutely chanceless innings. And here's the thing, right? Ben Stokes was in the middle of a brilliant spell. Jofra Archer had come back for yet another spell. And Gill was just playing these two bowlers out with such ease. Like, it's just, and they were targeting even his pads today, and he just kept playing it out. He looked so patient, he looked so good. And then that delivery from Chris Wokes just kind of holding its line, maybe nipping out a slight bit to get the finest of edges and to get Gill out at that point. I think India would have liked Gill to have gone up until stumps with KL. So that is the one thing they will be a little sad.
All right, let's talk about credit for the bid, and that's player of the day, and it should come as no surprise. It's Jasprit Bumrah, the first time to get into the honors board in Lords, 5 for 74. He bowled extremely well. There was no doubt that he was going to get wickets today, but then just the way he ran into bowl and the spell, the fact that he was able to get the ball to seam both ways, to swing both ways, to get Brook, Root, Ben Stokes, Wokes, and then one more wicket. Got to the 5th wicket. Was it Bashir? No, it wasn't Bashir. Bashir was the last wicket. Was it Josh Tung?
No, Josh Tung's not even playing.
Oh, that's true. Oh, he got
Jofra?
Jofra Archer
Yeah.
out then. Right. So yeah, to get all of these wickets, it was just beautiful to see him bowl. Except I do have a criticism though. His 5th wicket, he every time he came into bowl, it did seem like he was searching for that wicket. He wasn't being as consistent as we know Bumrah to be. But all that being said, he got everyone. He got the main batters of the squad out. which is what was needed at that time. Of course, Nitish Kumar Reddy also got Ben Duckett out, but that's a conversation. But yeah, Jasprit Bumrah, there's no doubt that he's the player of the day. He comes back into the test match first and gets a fifer, gets his name in the honors board. Always good to see. Let's go to quick wait and Brit, and that is the stats.
That's the stats. We actually have a lot of stats today. So if you haven't liked the stream yet, geez, definitely like the stream. There's only 23 odd likes. Can we get that number to 50 as we move into the stats? Jamie Smith is the fastest wicketkeeper to 1,000 test runs, taken just 21 innings.
He equals Quinton de Kock's record
Damn.
of 21 innings.
A good name to be next to. Now, the second one, no bowler has more recorded dismissals in test matches as bowled than Jasprit Bumrah at the moment.
Since his debut.
Since his debut. He's got 59 bowls, and overall, I think across formats, there's just one person who's got more bowls than him, and that's at 138. Crazy. And so here's an interesting one, right? I think this is my favorite stat for the day. Is before that first new ball got changed, firstly, it took about 63 odd deliveries to get changed. India was getting on average a movement of about 2.2 degrees. Now, this is swing or seam. I'm not really sure. I think it's a combination of both or something of the on those lines. But the moment India changed the ball, there's a reason why it felt like things were not going India's way with the ball. That's because the degrees of movement had come down to 1.3. Now, Jofra. So this is a good Jofra stat. I think it was his third or maybe fourth delivery of the day.
Yeah, fourth delivery, the first to Karun Nair being
Yeah.
a 93.3 miles per hour, more than 150, that is,
Yeah.
which is insane. For him to come back, it was just good to see. Joe Root goes to the top for the most test catches by a non-wicket keeper, 211. Of course, I was going to say not out. Goes past Rahul Dravid, yet another name in the slips.
And what a catch it was. It was the one that got rid of Karun Nair. So great catch to go to the top of the
Yeah,
list.
that's true. Bumrah now has 13 fifers in away tests, cross Kapil Dev's 12. And these 13 fifers in way less innings too, if I'm not wrong.
True.
Joe Root now has 11 centuries versus India, most and equals Steve Smith. These two guys, the amount of runs they score against us is a bloody crime. But let's go to the technical tidbit and let's go
Cool.
to this part of things.
Cool. So the first one's actually, it's a very basic technical tidbit, but it's something that a lot of people tend to not look at or discount. And that has to do with the bottom hand and the top hand. Now, a lot of times on commentary, you will hear a lot of the commentators saying that the edge has not carried to the slips because a batter has played with a soft bottom hand. And now, what this basically means is that if you'll see even the drive here that KL is playing, it's not even a drive, it's a bit of a push. Firstly, the elbow position is brilliant, and you'll see that the top hand, which is his left hand, is a lot more firm. Whereas the bottom hand is just playing a supporting role of sort of giving direction to the ball. And in times when you want to exert more power or want to play a proper full fledged drive, is when your bottom hand, or in this case, the right hand, would be held a lot firmer. Now, a lot of the reasons why KL is such a good batter in Test cricket and why a lot of his edges don't carry to the slips while other batters' edges might carry is because KL plays with very soft bottom hand. That means he's not gripping the bat really hard. And what that basically does is it lets the ball come to the bat instead of the bat making an effort to go towards the ball. And so that's the reason that the edges don't carry.
All right, let's go from this to my favorite batsman in the world at this point to criticize, and that's Yashasvi Jaiswal. I've already talked about this in different videos and different reels and different lives, but I just thought it's just very interesting because this is something we will see Jaiswal struggling with if he doesn't improve on. If you see the image on the left, I always say, it's after the initial movement that he's done. If you see the image on the right, it's his head falling across looking for the ball. The reason he got out the way he did, and the reason he squared up, if you don't know what squared up means, is when the batsman plays the shot, the batter plays the shot, and you can see both of his shoulders facing the umpire. That is his chest facing the umpire. That's when you know the bat is opened up or he's squared up. And the reason that happens is because when Jaiswal falls over, he's reading the wrong line. That's such a difficult thing to say. He's reading the wrong line, which means because his head is falling over and the ball is pitching right outside leg stump or middle and leg stump, I want to say outside leg stump, He thinks the ball is coming towards him rather than going outside the off stump. And because of this, he needs to open up. Because imagine wearing a helmet, your head is falling across, and when you see the ball outside the leg stump, you want to be able to get your bat in. And the only way you can do that is having your left shoulder opened up. And the second you have your left shoulder opened up, your feet move nowhere. You're poking the ball with the bat, and then you will probably get an edge. And that's exactly what happened with Jaiswal. It's something I've repeatedly talked about. It's something I've made an entire video on. Jaiswal will continue to struggle against this if he does not correct this. And I'm not just saying it for the sake of it. There is proof, because it's not just the first time it's happened. Chris Wokes has gotten him out the same way, not just now, but in practice matches. Scott Boland in Australia, and he'll continue to happen time and again. It's not about him being able to leave, being an attacking batter. He just doesn't know if he can leave the ball because his head falls across way too much. But yeah, that's something. Let's go from the technical tidbit to something that we want to talk about, and that's the new ball conundrum. Right. So what the new ball conundrum basically is that you have two bowlers in the form of Akash Deep and Mohammad Siraj who have done extremely well with the new ball in the second test match. We saw them taking wickets. We saw one of them getting a 10 for in the match. We saw Siraj getting a 5 for in the first innings. Except when the best bowler in the world statistically comes on to the match, comes back into the team, you would want him to start off with the new ball. Except that's the problem, right? You have Akash Deep and Mohammad Siraj who have done extremely well with the new ball, but what have we seen yesterday is when Akash Deep and Jasprit Bumrah started, Akash Deep did well. Siraj wasn't in the best of rhythms. Except today, with the second new ball that the India had, Siraj and Bumrah started off day two, and when Akash Deep came on, he almost seemed ineffective. To be fair to him, he also got the softer ball, but he also seemed ineffective. And that is the problem. So the one solution that you could possibly have is have Siraj and Akash Deep open the bowling and have them going at it, because then Jasprit Bumrah can be the first change and then come into the attack later on, while the two bowlers who have gotten the new ball got the best out of them, and then you get the best bowler in, something Australia does really well. You have Hazelwood, Stark, and Pat Cummins coming number three. Not saying Pat Cummins is the best bowler, just in terms of comparisons. But here's the problem with Bumrah being the best bowler. The mic's off. Mic's off. Praatibh.
I'm back. All right. Oh my God. I'm tired of switching off my mic. But yeah, lads. So
I spoke
Ashwin
about.
spoke about
Oh
Akash
my
Deep
God.
and Siraj with the new ball. But the condition there is that Bumrah will not start with the new ball. Now, why is it an issue? Is because Bumrah is your best bowler. You know that with Bumrah starting the spell, he's almost 99 out of 100 times going to give you good lines, good lengths, and he will create a great impact. Now, with Siraj and Akashdeep, that's not a guarantee. The biggest example of Bumrah doing well with the new ball was today morning, where in the span of 30 minutes, he got 3 wickets. And that just goes to show that why would you not want to start off with a Bumrah who with the new ball can do all of that?
Yeah, and that is the conundrum that the Indian team needs to look after, and that is something the Indian. What is up with your camera angle? But that is something I don't think is being talked about enough in terms of how the reason Akash Deep didn't do well today is because he would generally do better with the new ball, which he didn't get today. The reason Siraj didn't do as good yesterday was because he didn't get the new ball yesterday. And so, if you're going to play these three fast bowlers, you will need to make sure that the captain, the Indian team management will need to make sure that they use the strengths really, really well. So, that is the new ball conundrum. That is, yeah, for us to look at and observe, and for us to also talk about.
I think by the end of the series will give us a good idea
Yeah, that's true.
because the thing is when Akashdeep started off when England were touring India, that time he
Yeah,
was too new to get the new ball. And then now we know how to pull up the stat of how he's doing. So we'll let you know at the end of the series.
true. Boys, earlier I had mentioned about Duke's ball and my reason why they're not durable to thoughts on it. I'm sorry, Shrikant, we didn't read that much today because we were in a hurry to fortunately start. I did read your comment on how the captains may not necessarily take the call. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the captains may not necessarily take the call about Jamie Smith coming up to stumps. I think that's not true. Of course, it's also an instinctive thing about a wicket keeper, but usually, and I say usually, of course, again, I'm not saying Jamie Smith didn't have the decision to himself. He would have taken it. But usually, the captain would ask the wicketkeeper to come up front, come keep up to the stumps because the batter's outside the crease. And I thought that was a very clever thing to get Shubman Gill out. Usually, he would stand outside the off stump to Chris Works. This time, he had to stay back in. A brilliant catch. But yeah, I don't know if it's a Jamie Smith thing, but like what you said, is not necessarily always true. It's not always the wicketkeeper. Usually, it's the bowler and the captain. But yes, right. Fifer is not as common as a century in Test cricket, but still both are treated to be equal to get into the honours board. Of course, getting into that isn't the point, but shouldn't bowlers get more respect?
Oh, damn. That's an interesting take. Damn, I don't know where I stand with that. I think a 5-4 and 100 are. I mean, the argument that you pose here is that because it's a batting generation, it probably is easier to get 100. But traditionally, Lords is also not an easy place to score a lot of runs. It's only in the recent past that it has become. It's still a slow pitch. You still need to apply yourself, and
True.
Joe Root still had to do a fair bit to get to that century. So I think 5-4s and 100s are still comparable. I mean, what I mean, you can't say that at 4 wickets you'll start putting bowlers at the owners board because that means the bowler's not even got half the side out.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair. If in case we don't play punt in the fourth test, and in case Jurel gets injured while keeping, do we need another wicketkeeper batter? And England does not have any backup wicketkeeper in the squad. Do their batters do part-time keeping? I mean, we have KL Rahul,
We have KL.
and we
Yeah.
sub in a fielder.
Yeah.
With, and I don't know.
Is there any update on Jurel's? I hope he's not. That'll be hilarious actually. Just
Yeah,
going
that's
out in the same game.
They should add Kuldeep in playing 11. I understand there are concerns whether he will be economical, but I think Brits are already aggressive with the bat and he can help with wickets. We have actually made an entire video on this. We posted it today. So if you want our answer or a discussion on it, check it out. Did you see that Joe Root pulls out to bowler so late the bowler nearly falls over? It's getting dangerous
Yeah.
levels of late now. Siraj yesterday could have easily. To be fair, it's not his.
Not his fault, but yeah, yesterday there's a couple of times where he pulled out so late.
Yeah.
Like,
Akash Deep getting unlucky or similar to Siraj, he's getting overwhelmed by Bumrah. I don't think he's getting overwhelmed. I just think Akash Deep is not getting the new ball. There's a reason for why he struggles to get wickets between the 31st and the 80th over. And so I think it's that. It's good if Jadeja came up the order at 5 instead of Pant because he had some little finger injury, but Pant came to bat. If he will come good tomorrow as fresh to bat at 6, it's good better.
yeah, I think if Pant felt comfortable coming, it's fine because
Karun's issue is in his head. His temperament is not up to the mark, and it baffles me. The guy scored 300 for fun in domestic, but when it comes to international cricket, he just can't keep his head right. And I think I agree with that.
I think it's a temperament thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, man, because it's not like he hasn't done it. It's not like he doesn't know how to score. But then the other question is also is something that people bring up is he just a domestic, like that's his cap. Yeah.
Right, Srikanth was saying how the Dukes have started to use a poor leather quality was used as Dukes balls are not selling much or changed to have some sustainability and financially. That's where quality has fallen. There was an interview done by the guy who's the owner of runs Dukes. He did say that they use different kind of leather, but that's also because they can't always get the best procurement, which I thought was the other thing to say. Yeah, I get the fact that I mean, if you're not making the best balls, I think you should be open about it, and I think there needs to be other competitors, but that's easier said than done because you're like
They, pr-
sacrificing a business
they probably have a monopoly anyways
in England.
in England.
Bumrah keeps getting 5 for fun now, ridiculous, but India doesn't win much when Bumrah does very well. Thoughts?
There's two ways of looking at it, right? You can either look at it as Bumrah being the sole performer whenever India sucks,
Right?
or you're saying that Bumrah is the bad luck, and or you're saying that the other bowlers just become over reliant on Bumrah because he's just getting the wickets, but nobody else is stepping up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you look at the stats, I get where you're coming from, but also Bumrah doesn't play a lot of games that India will possibly win, but also like games like this game. Yeah, that's true. bowlers got wickets. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, how do you correlate it is a question. Like,
to be fair, a lot of people in the latter half of Sachin's career said that every time Sachin scored
uh,
100, where India lost. But if you look at his hundreds, there are more wins than just stuff like that. But guys, getting 5 wickets would mean the bowler alone has sent half of the batting side back. But a century need not always mean that the batter has scored half of the team runs. No,
yeah,
that's
I
true.
yeah, I had the thought, but then the game anyways is more batting inclined, right? So like my only thing is how do you like at 4 wickets it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't quantify it. Like
Yeah.
you have something for the bowlers, something for the batters. I don't know if getting a 5 wicket haul and getting 100 is equal. I don't know if they're equal per se, but you can't. You have to
See,
stop somewhere.
one good way, or at least something that I was thinking of, I don't know if it's good, you all tell me, is to see the top bowlers in Test cricket and how many 5 wicket hauls they have. Those numbers are around 38, 40. Like I can remember someone like an Aswin has those many. And equate that to the number of hundreds of the top batters, which is also around the 40s, the 30s and 40s.
Thing.
And so, by that logic, you would want to go with the assumption that, okay, because of how even they are, it's possibly the same weighted comparison. So,
Okay, here's the thing. Most of Bumrah's matches are overseas where India usually doesn't win. In India, where Bumrah doesn't play much, yeah, India wins. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly that. I will say thank you for your service to Karun Nair. Harsh, but team first. You guys watch full match or miss any part? No, we watch the entire thing. Procurement of leather is one thing, or tanning the leather is other. If you guys have poor tanning of the leather, causes the ball to lose the durability. That's what it's, that's what it is with Dukes currently.
So it's
Is
for
this an
tanning.
assumption or is this something that they have said? Because I don't think they've said this out loud, and I might be mistaken. So Shrikant, you'll have to tell me if this is something you're assuming, or is this something they've said? All right.
Yeah, camera is unstuck, don't worry. Let's drop a like if you are just joining in, or it's 36 likes. Can we get it to 50 likes, please? Let's push the stream out to more people.
If in case we lose the test series, or even if we win, can we have Ajinkya Rane for captaincy?
Whoa.
I don't think Gill as captain can win against South Africa. Home test series, we need to. Oh. First of all, Rahane is never making it back into the test side to begin with. He's never coming back. There's no reason for him to be back. If anything, you will move on. He was your number 5, Pant's your number 5. Yeah, there's no. Not only does he not fit in into the batting squad, there's no reason for him to be back. He hasn't scored in the Ranji format. Yeah,
Yeah, if anything, he's only scoring in T20 cricket.
yeah.
Clearly, his focus has also kind of shifted. Yeah.
Franchise cricket. Do you think Shreyas Iyer should be given a chance in Sena? I mean, not really. I think he needs to perform another round of Ranji cricket. Then he needs to at least play county, or if India games, needs to be selected
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that to
games.
begin with. India A games. Supporting Karun Nair is getting frustrating at this point. He just misses these amazing chances and situations from where he could just rescue the team and cement his place.
Yeah, I think there was this argument on Twitter as to why Karun Nair is getting so much flack despite him getting starts and getting those 30s and 40s, whereas there are some other batters who might not even be getting that. And I think it was very beautifully put, I think, by Crick Crazy Nicks, not wrong, wherein, yeah, I shout out, where basically he talked about how Karun is not coming into tricky situations. Oh, yeah, I remember. The argument was about why Kale has been backed that much versus why
Correct.
Karun is already. There's a couple of things, right? Even if we put aside the whole potential argument, the thing is, Kale has always, whenever he scored the tough runs.
Right.
And which is why he keeps getting those few innings. With Karun, he's coming into beautiful situations to bat. He's coming in on a batting pitch multiple times now. He's coming in when the team has mostly got off to a good start. He's coming in when the conditions are possibly at the best to bat. There's not much pressure to bat. I mean, there's always going to be pressure, but that's the argument, right?
True.
And it's not like he's getting out in the start. It's not like he's struggling. He's getting a start. He's getting 20, 30, 40. And from there, that is why the frustration.
He has a huge back issue.
Ooh.
Karun Nair. If Karun is getting the chance, why does Shreyas not deserve it?
Okay, so let's break this down. Karun Nair, the first thing you need to keep in mind is that Karun Nair has been in the circuit for almost 15 years now, and he's been doing well for that long in domestic cricket. Even beyond that, Karun Nair's got a triple century, which in Test cricket, which already makes him an outlier as to why someone of that age even gets a chance to come back into the Indian team. And and even beyond that, even if you look beyond his 300, he scored runs across all three formats for 3 to 4 seasons consistently where he's been having Bradman-esque averages. Shreyas Iyer has not been doing that. I'm not saying in any way that Shreyas Iyer is not deserving of a test spot, but Shreyas Iyer, when he was dropped for the right reasons. He was struggling against the short ball,
He was struggling against
against
Spain at
spin,
that
yeah,
point.
which he's supposedly is good at, and we know that. But yeah, that's basically it. It's you're comparing oranges to apples.
And they would possibly bat in different positions too. I don't think Shreyas Iyer would bat in number 3. I would be terrified if he bats in number. Why do whoever makes debut against India does well so often than not? And he has always been an issue. We don't generally do well against new and young players. That is very, very true.
Yeah.
Regardless of the format, I agree with you. Why the hell Siraj asked the ball change when Bumrah was taking wickets? You know, okay, I don't want to start anything. I don't think what I'm going to say is factually true. Bumrah did look very, very irritated after the
Yeah.
ball change when he was sitting outside. I think after his spell, I don't even think he was going to come to bowl anyways. But yeah, he was very, very irritated. Now, I don't know if he was irritated because of the kind of ball given. Everyone seemed to be irritated. Or the fact that the ball was asked to be changed. Now, I don't know which one it is, but it was very, very irritated. Could you cover Manish Pandey's career? That never was. He was from Delhi, just like Kohli, and technically well tapped.
Hey,
Manish Pandey,
Manish Pandey is from
yeah,
Karnataka.
he's a Bangalore boy. We've not only played with him. I mean, I was going to say we have not only practiced with him, we've also played with him. Delhi. Okay, that was, but yeah,
Unless there's a confusion with some other cricketer.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he may have been born in. I have no idea. But he's played for Karnataka. He's captain Karnataka. He's won the Ranji Trophy. Everything for Karnataka. He's only played.
Okay.
I know for a fact for Karnataka Ranji side.
Yeah.
Actually, that's also not.
Now he might,
Yeah,
but
because he
in
got
fact,
dropped.
last season played with first class game
Yeah,
for
something like
Karnataka
that.
or something like that.
So happy to not rant about Prasidh Krishna. Trust me, if he played, we would have been seeing 450, 500. His overs give confidence to English batsmen to go after other bowlers. Prasidh, the Baz ball signal. Right. From the last 2 days, we lost 25 overs in the match. So definitely, umpire should be keeping an eye on penalty of deducing the WTC points that cost at the end of the WTC final for both.
Yeah, the fines and the penalties are going to be interesting. The umpires have also not been very strict. They've just
Yeah.
let things kind of go on. So
True.
it's not the players to blame, honestly. I think the officials should take matters into their own hands.
Clearly, the player of the day is NKR, of course. India does not have a good position 3 batter. Do you think they should give Sai Sudarshan the next match if Karun is dropped? Interestingly enough, there was an article we read a couple of weeks ago of how there is no good number 3 batter in any of the top sides. You
Oh,
see,
yeah.
Ollie Pope, he's struggling. Of course, he scored that 100. But like before the series started, or even in the series, after that 100, he hasn't really scored any runs. Australia is still finding their number 3. Of course, Cameron Green is the number 3 right now, but he's not the solid number 3. And no one knows how long will he be given a chance for. Again, Mulder, he
Malda,
scored
yeah.
those. Mulder, he scored those 3 whatever runs.
367.
But before that, he had an average of 26 in Test cricket. So again, and it was against Zimbabwe. No disrespect, but you don't know how he's going to do against the top teams. I covered Australia, I covered South Africa, England, and even India now. So if you look at the top teams, none of them have a top 3, and it's almost an era kind of thing. So
The threes are struggling. I think
yeah.
Kane is the
Yeah, Kane
only
is the only number
outlier.
3,
Yeah.
except he's the only old generation batter
Right, right.
and
Yeah.
still batting at number 3. So it's very interesting, but you're right. I mean, they should try someone new after the series, I guess. I think
Mm,
Karuna will still get the 4 test match.
yeah.
I meant Delhi in the context of I
Okay. Okay.
will possibly make a video on Manish Pandey one day. He does have a century in that chase
Yeah.
when Dhoni got out in the last over. He won us the game. So he's done some stuff. He's just
It's yeah, I think as per memory serves, you would think that he was hard done by. Same way how a lot of people think Karun Nair was hard done by,
but the rider
which
was
is
hard.
debatable. Yeah. Ambati Raidu definitely was. He averaged 60 almost. But yeah, with Manish Pandey, we'll actually break it down. There's reasons.
Yeah, that's true. Still, it's questionable for India's number 3 who gives solid knocks for team. How long can we wait? Even Australia also find their number 3 as Green. I mean, they haven't found number like
Green's been struggling off late.
he did score a 50, but yeah, there's the people still finding a number 3, and so are we. After Pujara, it's been a while. We thought Gill would be a number 3, evidently not. I mean, Karuna gets this series. If not, then Sai Sudarshan is your number 3 for a while, right? What's the reason behind the increased number of false threes? Surya Ram, that's exactly the article I'm talking about. We have seen lately Mulder, Cameron Green, not traditional play along the ground, guys. The key batting position. You got that spot on. That's exactly the article I'm talking about. If you guys haven't checked that out, I think it's a Medium article. You guys should check it out. It's whole breakdown. It's by a New Zealand writer, if I'm not wrong. And of course, he backs his New Zealand number.
Again, Mama.
We need to, right. I thought when Karun went past 35, he was going to get 300. Still, he's second innings highest test. Something to be happy for him.
Funnily enough, I comment in one of our WhatsApp groups.
What's the reason why quite a few number of T20 bowlers don't succeed in Test cricket? Interesting.
There are so many reasons. For
The same reason
starters,
for why a lot of T20 batters don't
succeed. Yeah, styles are different, formats are different, requirements are different. The simplest thing is, can a T20 bowler ball consistently for longer spells than 4 overs and pitch the ball in one spot and be patient about setting up a batter and getting wickets?
Do you see Prithvi Shaw ever making a comeback? He still has a lot of time.
He has moved to Maharashtra as well. So maybe, and I think the biggest thing is he's acknowledged that he was going the wrong way, that he was distracted. So I think he's already taken the right step towards possibly, hopefully making a comeback. Will that happen? Time will tell.
This is very interesting. Can we make it a case to play a regular opener at number 3 rather than pushing a player playing down the order to number 3, as they would be better adept at playing the moving ball? I think that's also why a lot of people want Sai Sudarshan as number 3. I think that's why India started off with Sai Sudarshan, because he's an opener, bats at number 3. Even if we see Dev Dutt making it to the Indian team, I think he will play number 3 and wouldn't open. I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. There aren't a lot of options in terms of openers going to make it to the Indian. I mean, Abhimanyu Iswaran is who you'll say, but we have talked about him a lot. And then you have Sai Sudarshan. To be fair, Karun does. He's a top order batter for Vidarbha.
Yeah.
Was for Karnataka.
I mean, he's not an opener,
Yeah.
but who else? I mean, there's a lot of domestic players who opening the innings have done well, but first you'll have to see them on the A tours, and then you'll have to make a case for them.
Guys, adept means to be skillful at something.
Aware.
Look it up. Damn, the passive aggression. What about good test bowlers not finding success in T20 cricket, guys? Yeah, it's the same thing. So like Praatibh said, like, how do you wait? What? Good test bowlers not finding success.
That's a mixed bag. I think,
to be fair, a lot of good test bowlers at this point are pretty good test T20 bowlers. Jasprit Bumrah, Hazelwood, Stark is arguable. Pat Cummins again arguable.
yeah.
And then you have Rabada, who's again. But like,
See, I think for a test bowler to be a successful T20 bowler is easier than the vice versa thing, where T20. Oh my god, it's too much to say.
is the old practice of batting for time gone now? It made a lot of sense because you're effectively softening the ball for the guys in the middle order who can slog. Is the skill dying? I don't think it's dying. I think it's very team oriented.
All I'm going to say is that the Duke's ball is going soft and out of shape anyways. Why do you need a batter to do it for you?
Oh yeah, that's. Can we say Gill? Can we say Gill to go play Ranji and to learn captaincy rather than playing T20 cricket and meaningless? I don't know what you have against Gill's captaincy. We have criticized it a lot, but he's doing fine. I don't think big holes to worry about.
Only 3 tests. He's not even 3 test matches. This is his 3rd test match.
Also, even if you ask Gill to go play Ranji cricket, like what's going to happen to the Indian team? Like who's going to do that? And you can't not have one of the best wide ball openers in this generation play ODI cricket. You will want Gill to open in the ODI format. T20 is a whole other conversation, but you can't just not ask Gill to play the ODI format, which he's so good at, and tell him to go play Ranji cricket. Boys, for the last time, I'm gonna spam it. Shrikant, yeah, we get. I will read the article. Root gonna stop scoring to respect Sachin. So have you seen Gale's comment on Mulder's declaring? No, I haven't seen. Have you seen?
No, I actually haven't.
We already did it in BGT was Australia by playing Rahul at number 3, but this strategy failed. Yeah, but that's fine. I think so. That was just one test match. It's not the worst idea to have an opener as number 3. I just don't know how many openers are doing well. To be fair, a lot of. I just don't know if they'll do well at number.
But I'll give you the counter, and the example is Rohit Sharma. Although he's not batted 3, the biggest problem with Rohit Sharma when he was playing lower on the order was that he would have too much time to think. Then by the time he came out, he wouldn't have the concentration usually to get.
And that is something I feel like people don't think about often. As an opener, who has opened for a long time, even though I haven't played international cricket. The second a team asks me to bat, even at number 3, it's such a switch off, not in terms of how I don't want to bat. It's just difficult to adjust to. And if you don't play matches, so in the nets, the team management can tell you, listen, you're batting at number 3. But it's when the match starts, you realize it's new because you're not taking the new ball, you're not walking in. In fact, you're watching two batters bat. And you would usually do that when you get out as an opener. My doubt is the same too. What is the doubt? Someone like a Nathan Lyon never quite made it in the white ball, though why that shouldn't it be easier to just ball 4 overs?
It's easier to ball 4 overs by virtue of the stamina or the energy you would use, but it's not easier to get a wicket in 4 overs. And with the example of Nathan Lyon, it's very simple. He is someone who has one kind of delivery and he relies on setting a batter up. So a lot of Nathan Lyon's wickets that you'll see even in Test cricket are a build up. It's
True.
never a one delivery or a three delivery or a 1 over setup. It's something where he will ball from one end for 3, 4, 5, 6 overs continuously, make the batter comfortable, and then get that wicket. Whereas, and which is also why you'll see different kinds of spinners more successful in T20 cricket,
Yeah.
or the ones or people who ball like really slow, loopy
A
deliveries
lot of
like a
wrist
wrist
spinners, in fact.
spinners. Yeah, we've done a video on this very long back on the evolution of spinners in T20 cricket. So check that out.
Oh, my doubt is the same. There you go. The doubt clarified. Rahul was basically an Yeah, that's true. And yeah, the third batter number 3 was basically same as Ashwin, although he was more successful in white ball. Wait, who was more
Ash.
successful in white ball?
Yeah,
No,
we'll.
Ashwin was not more
Ashwin was more
successful.
successful in red
Red ball
ball.
by a mile. Of course, he has good white ball numbers, but yeah, there's
Red ball's his primary format.
dude. Ashwin was more successful in Test, says Ravi Singh, and this is where we'll end this live. Thank you guys so much for watching. It'll be an interesting day. We will come back tomorrow at 2:45 to talk about how India needs to go about batting and what India needs to do to basically get a hold of this game because
Yeah.
currently it's still in balance. India not outright dominating. We haven't won a lot of sessions in this Test match.
If anything, England's probably ahead at this point.
Yeah, and that is something new because in the last 2 Test matches, England were ahead only once or twice, won the game. Can we stop T20 versus Test, guys? This is why we will. Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, Italy has qualified for the T20 World Cup, which is
Yeah.
such a big deal.
That's probably my battery.
Yeah, Pratib's cabinet. Pratib's
Camera.
cabinet. Pratib's camera is dead, so you will see this F. It's the focal length. Now you won't see. Now it's just me. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. Like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. We did put out a Kuldeep Yadav video today and why he should be India's #1 spinner and why he's not. And a lot of arguments about how it's because he can't bat, which is not true, which we have broken it down as well. We've broken everything we could possibly down. If there are arguments that you need to make, put down in the comments below because then we will respond to that. We'll always try responding to comments or at least read it and then acknowledge it on chat. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Always appreciate the support. See you guys tomorrow at 2:45.